Good
Welcome to
afternoon.
MCLive, which is a monthly interactive webinar designed for the purposes of encouragement, connection, and support, sponsored by National Ministers Council. My name is Dan Hopkins, and I'm your host today. I am part of the Ministers Council leadership team. I pastor First Baptist Church in Tell City, Indiana, at the very bottom of the state, right down on the Ohio River. My usual partner in crime, Jackie Belial, has a moving day today, so pray hard for her. And all the moving trucks and all of that stuff. I don't know how cold it is in Chicago today, but I can only guess it's going to be a little frigid as she moves along. So God bless her in her endeavors today, and that's an exciting next step of faith for her. In this webinar today of MCLive, we're going to look at TIM, Together in Ministry groups, and they go by different names, past, present, and future. And if you are currently in a TIM, or have wanted to be in a group and would like to start one, I would really invite your input and participation in our time together today. First, a little bit of housekeeping stuff. You know, like when you're in a hotel and it's in the morning and it's early and you don't want to get up out of bed and hear a knock on the door, housekeeping, right? That's kind of what we're doing right now. Our next webinar, which will be March 14th, next month, it will be put on by a couple of gals, Katie Jo Setaby and Rachel McGuire. And they're going to be talking about ways of developing church curriculum and developing some better ways to help with resources for educational ministry. Rachel and Katie Jo say that in the past few decades, as denominations struggled, most cut their educational resources and scaled back their publishing. Today, when pastors and Sunday school teachers need educational material, they think Google more than they look for resources from the denomination. So Rachel and Katie Jo think that reinventing the wheel is frustrating and unnecessary when it comes to education and discipleship in the church. So join us next month, March 14th, 11 a.m. Central Time, as they talk about the fascinating technology that they have pioneered to elevate and network the grassroots knowledge present in every church. She and Katie Jo have left traditional ministry to help equip American Baptists and other people of faith for tomorrow's church. What will tomorrow's church look like? They say organically networked, digitally networked, and ridiculously more efficient. Sounds scary good, doesn't it? So next month, join us for the MCLive webinar as we talk about that. Also, this summer, as we prepare for our summit in Virginia Beach with ABC International, we are going to have a Ministers Council booth, and we would really appreciate pictures if you are currently involved in a TIM group of some kind, that you would send those pictures to us. And Lisa will be looking for any pictures you have that she can share and pass along at info@ministerscouncil.com. Lisa, would you like to add any more to that?
No, we're basically looking to have a banner highlighting the TIM groups and accomplishments of current groups or new groups. And if you have pictures that you have taken along the way, we would love to highlight those at the annual summit in Virginia Beach. So please feel free to send them over.
That'd be great. That would be great to get your all stuff and see what's happening and goes along with the other stuff we're doing today. Before I go any further, I want to wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day. We have a preschool in our church that we call Glory Beads. And we have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday group of 4 to 5 year olds and a Tuesday, Wednesday group of 3-year-olds. And they have both had extravagant parties the last couple of days. So I am blessed with a huge chocolate chip cookie and some sort of strawberry deliciousness that I will be partaking in. So by the end of our webinar today, if I am on a natural sugar high, I might be speaking deliriously, and just pay no attention to any odd things you might be hearing coming out of my mouth. I can blame it on the chocolate chip cookie. At any rate, happy Valentine's Day to you all. And as we talk today about together in ministry and a significant aspect of ministers' counsel. So about a year ago, the Ministers' Council leadership team was meeting in Philadelphia. In fact, we were right in the midst of hiring a young lady to be our secretary and in charge of just all kinds of stuff. And Lisa Simpson, you've been with us for about a year now.
Yes.
And that's exciting, and you haven't lost your mind yet, and that itself is a miracle of biblical proportion. So we're grateful to have you along for the ride. About a year ago, we met in Philadelphia, and we're really trying to reassess how we as Ministers' Council can take forward steps into the future, both financially, structurally, and in about every way possible. As you know, the past couple of years have brought significant change into the life of Ministers' Council. As we brought ideas to the table, I was inspired by the words of Doug Harris, who was our former president, and in his parting words, really challenged us to consider the value of TIM small groups together in ministry to look to the future as a way of reinvesting and supporting those who are connected through these life groups. As I read that, it inspired me to take this proposal to the table for our leadership team to really make this a place of priority and to find ways of investing in lots of different ways, those who have existing TIM groups and have the courage to maybe start one. If you are familiar with TIM in the past, these are groups that for a number of years, Ministers' Council has invested in and encouraged and supported in lots of different ways. About 10 years ago, they made another refocused effort to really strengthen and renew this commitment to TIM ministry. They outlined a 3-point strategy in which this focus is to occur, focusing on these 3 words: community, spirituality, and leadership. The idea to encourage and sustain the TIM culture from our national office and from our constituent councils and regions, to strengthen our constituent councils and encourage and support this culture, and to support national clergy gatherings that will promote this idea of community, spirituality, and leadership. About 10 years ago, they were offering a number of workshops to several regions and invested in over 100 ministerial leaders and region staff people. The director at that time met with a number of regional groups, had face-to-face meetings, speaking engagements, and the like to really encourage and foster this TIM principle. A reverend by the name of Lisa Drysdale several years ago wrote this about Ministers Council TIM groups and her experience with them. Has this ever happened to you? It's just a few minutes before the worship service starts, and you are ready to lead, standing at the back of the sanctuary as a few more people settle into the pews. The music, outstanding. The energy, high. You're confident that your message is full of the wisdom of God and life is good. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, you know that one church member that pushes your buttons every time he or she nears you? Well, they approach. And from the periphery of your vision, you see the dark clouds beginning to roll in. Your conversation is no different than the hundreds of others you've shared with him or her before. She attacks, you defend, and your ability to lead the worship service is negatively impacted by this early morning exchange. Is that just, am I the only one that's ever happened to? Now imagine for a moment the Monday morning conference call or meeting with your Together in Ministry colleagues, when you vividly and passionately tell the story of the Sunday encounter with this always attacking church member. They listen with compassion. They ask thoughtful, clarifying questions. And then this: put your big pants on and get over there with her so you can understand what is troubling her. What? How did this get to be about me? Welcome to the world of my Together in Ministry group. There are 9 of us, and in one form or another, we've been together for about 5 years. We worked hard, sometimes without leadership outside, and often on our own, to understand each other in deep, meaningful levels. We met face-to-face 8 to 10 times a year, gathered once or twice annually for 2.5-day retreats, talking on the phone for an hour every Monday morning, regularly emailing back and forth as we posed questions about being church leaders, people of faith, family members, and colleagues. This is what I've learned along the way. I no longer desire to lead my church from a place of weakness, fear, disappointment, isolation, or sorrow. I know all about these things, and I suspect you do too. Each of them has played a part in making me the person and pastor I am today. I understand that. What is critical to me now is that I connect with a group of colleagues who also strive for excellence. I have found them in my Together in Ministry TIM group. By the grace of God, it is in the moments when I am still trying to cover up my true feelings, when I am still projecting an image that is not true to who I am, that my colleagues push me. They ask questions. They encourage me to go deeper. They wonder with me. They wait in silence while I try to figure out what is going on in my head and in my heart. And then they make me laugh. Connecting on a deeper level with a group of authentic and, yes, flawed colleagues has helped me be a better professional church leader. Rabbi Edwin Friedman said, all leadership begins with the management of one's own health. These colleagues have helped me be a healthier person and pastor, and for that, I am grateful. As hard as our work is sometimes, I would not want it to be any other way. That's a pretty strong testimony. And again, Reverend Lisa Drysdale wrote that several years ago about her TIM small group experience. So I want to take a few minutes and hear from you all. If you've been a part of a TIM group in the past or present, and how maybe that testimony rings true for you, or what you have found to be valuable in your small group experience. Corey, you've shared that you are a part of a group and have been for a while. Can you identify with Lisa's words in your experience?
Yes, especially in past groups. In my current setting, I wouldn't say that I've necessarily found a group of people that I can that I feel I closely relate to, but I've stuck with it because number one, I believe ministers need to get together, and number two, I don't avoid being around people that I disagree with or have a different perspective than me, so I go. They don't, the books that we've been reading largely don't connect with me, but in principle, I've stuck with it. Is that not quite the answer you were looking for, but that's where I am?
Well, I think I appreciate that very much, because you recognize the value of support and collegiality, even if you're not connecting right now, perhaps on the level that you would like. And, I guess part of my question is, do you think there's another TIM group that might be a better fit for you? Or would you want to consider the idea of launching a new group, maybe with some like-minded colleagues?
Well, it depends on what kind of group that you want how you want to define it, what the parameters are. I mean, if we're looking at a TIM group of other Baptist ministers, I would have to find the colleagues first. There are not very many around here,
Right.
But there's also an interfaith group that I'm a part of, and we do that. That looks a lot different, but we do some meaningful things together.
Okay.
Time would not allow me to facilitate one, but like I mentioned at the beginning when you asked, there were actually some other people that I just met for the first time who joined our group from a different nearby association. So I think there's promise there.
Excellent. Someone else, would you like to share about your TIM experience, or whether you think there would be value in trying to begin one in your area?
Had a TIM group, and we were very, very, very active. The problem with that group was it was half retired pastors and half active pastors. It was difficult to find a topic to cover that would meet both their needs. We did several retreats. We brought in leaders. It was a very, very wonderful group, but it has, over the past couple of years, disbanded. I'm interested in restarting a TIM group with the active pastors in our association. We have a lot of women pastors in our association, so I was thinking of starting a TIM group with the women pastors. I ran that by some of our pastors, and they're very, very interested in it. As soon as winter ceases to be hounding us, we would like to start it in the spring.
We actually recently invested in a TIM group in Wisconsin. Reverend Bonnie Bell and several other ladies have a small group, and they are having a wonderful time together. We actually sent them a check for $200 just recently to help invest in resources, materials, food, and that sort of thing. So their experience with ladies has been wonderful. So Phyllis, remind me where you are again.
I'm in the Finger Lakes area of New York State.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk in a few minutes about launching one, because I'm actually at that point myself, Phyllis. So I would like for us to have some dialogue about that, and maybe consider how we might make that a great experience for you and some other folks.
Thank you.
Someone else, would you like to share about your TIM experience or whether you think this might be beneficial for you in the future?
Well, I'm considering starting one at Andover Newton Seminary for seminarians. Something that I strongly felt while I was in seminary was that my colleagues and I would, outside of our practicums, field ed practicums, we would be able to talk about what was going on in our field education and how we interacted with them. And while that was not the same as being the pastor, we were doing all of us were doing pastoral work. And I have tried in the past as a member of the alumni board to try to get some students together, but we had trouble with times, scheduling. So that was a difficult thing. And now that the school has moved to New Haven and the Baptist students are more cohesive, I really think that it would be important for them to begin to network with each other. And that's something that they can carry out beyond, graduation to wherever their calls are.
Very good. So if you're thinking about the idea of launching one, I would invite you to join me in our discussion about this in a little bit too.
Okay.
CD, remind me of your full name again?
Carolyn Dugan.
Carolyn, a part of a TIM group in the past.
So I'm newer to ministry. I was ordained in 2016. I've been a part of the Wisconsin region as the director of camping and now the associate regional minister of camping. And I kind of belong to the Northeast Association in Wisconsin, which is made up of pastors of churches, which I'm not a pastor of a church. So I go, and I think like what Corey said, I go because of the people. The books that they read, again, don't necessarily resonate with what I'm doing or where I'm going, but I appreciate the collegiality. I appreciate I can vent, I can share, that kind of thing. I have been thinking about, is there a way to pull camp leaders together across the states? And because it is a very niche-y type ministry with its own kind of unique, I guess, challenges, successes, that kind of thing. So I've reached out to some. I'm learning that camp people aren't always willing to share, or maybe it's just me they don't want to share with, I'm not sure. So I'm kind of toying and playing with that idea of how to make something like that successful.
Great. Well, let's be very clear about something here. You may not be a quote unquote pastor per se, but you are definitely involved in ministry. That's your heart. That is your passion. That is your gifting. That is your career. And so Ministers Council is not just for quote unquote ministers, because we're all ministers, right? In our own, your pulpit, is a little different from a church pulpit, but it's powerful, significant, and blessed by God. So for you to be plugged in and find that collegial support and connection is just as vital for anyone else on this call and anyone serving in any ministry capacity. Okay. So I really want to affirm the work that you do, and I'm thankful that you're being available to God in your area of Wisconsin, and strongly encourage you to find, that support and connectivity, whether it be, with people who don't live close to you through a camping area, or maybe people who are closer that aren't all involved in camping, but involved in ministry, and you get different perspectives, right? So I think either of those is a really good option, and would like for you to consider with me this idea of looking towards that. But I thank you for sharing, and God bless you for your ministry there. I want to welcome Angela Jackson, who is a part of the American Baptist Seminary in Kansas City. Angela, are you still with us?
I am.
All right. Why don't you share a little bit about what you've done proactively to get some grants for those in ministry, and how possibly it's something that we might be able to partner with you on?
Okay. So I was telling Dan before y'all logged on that I'm attending the webinar as a learner primarily. I am an ordained American Baptist minister. Actually just left pastoral call at the end of December to serve Central Seminary full time, where I manage our grant initiatives and have been a program designer and grant writer for the last few years part-time. So the seminary at the end of 2018 received $1 million grant from the Lilly Endowment for a new initiative that they launched called Thriving in Ministry. And the program that I designed for that grant involves drawing new and transitioning ministers together with more experienced ministers for a 2-year commitment to a relationship. The first year would be a relationship and a commitment to group mentoring, peer-to-peer learning. So it might be a group of 6 or 8, I would say max 10 pair or folks. So 3 to 5 pairs of ministers that had been matched at kind of as mentors. So the first year, those groups would meet together monthly for 2 to 3 hours sessions to do a group and peer-to-peer learning that's facilitated by kind of a group mentor, if you will. And then the second year of their commitment is kind of the pairs being released to one-to-one mentoring to deepen that relationship. Again, the expectation would be kind of at least monthly contact, if not more, whatever that relationship allows for each pair. But our hope is we have this 5-year grant window. This year we're laying foundation. I'm working with some folks who are doing peer-to-peer learning and training, equipping ourselves to be these group facilitators. And so beginning next year, we'll be looking to launch cohorts, if you will, of these groups of mentors and mentees. And we'd like to have 3 cohorts over the next 5 years, one that would launch in 2020, one that would launch in 2021, and one that would launch in 2022. And there are 4 facilitators that are training. So we're talking about possibly 4 groups, each year. And this really, there's a lot of ways it could multiply. But so towards the end of this year, we will be looking for networks to partner where people might say, hey, we have, 5 or 6 new and transitioning ministers in our region or in our city or something like that. And they could really use a seasoned minister to journey with them over the next couple of years. And so, that's why I'm here, is to see if there are ways that our, we're calling it Formed for Flourishing, our initiative can partner with Ministers Council to serve ministers who are in need of, in search of mentors, or on the opposite end, experienced ministers who are in search of serving as mentors, and at the same time deepening their own learning and their own sense of call as they continue to serve as an experienced or seasoned minister. So I'm interested in learning. I'm interested in hearing from y'all in your various regions and how the seminary might be able to serve you, partner with you, collaborate with you over the next 4 or 5 years, really to serve and strengthen pastors and thereby congregations.
Well, I'm confident, and I thank you for that. I'm confident that we can find common ground and work together. Would anyone like to respond to Angela and her sharing?
Can I sign up now? I'm a graduate of Central. So.
I know you are, Carolyn. I recognized your name. Nice to meet you face to face.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, this is something I've actually been looking for as a newer, older, I mean, the hair's older than I am, pastor. Just, somebody to work with, to mentor in a different way. Wisconsin is big, but it's also small, and I know a lot of people, so it would be nice to have something outside my current world. So I think that's a cool thing too. So yeah, so I'm raising my hand now.
Awesome. I'm writing your name down. I mean, that's the first half of this year. I have feelers out so that in the second half of this year, we can really begin to roll things forward and, do some concrete things with forming groups and taking, referrals from regions and associations and so forth. So I'm thrilled to have you.
I feel a tear in my eye as I see all this connection. So Angela, the next step is for you and our Ministers' Council President, Dee Turlington, to get on the same page on this. If we give you Dee Dee's email address, would you be able to contact her and just kind of share with her what you shared with us? Yes,
absolutely.
Lisa, do you have Dee Dee's email address like on hand by chance?
You could just send it to me in the chat feature.
Okay, sure, certainly.
Terrific. Thank you all.
Awesome. That's great, Dan. I appreciate that.
Hey, we're working together. It's what it's all about, right? We're on the same team. Ain't no I in team now. Come on.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw Phyllis maybe raise her hand.
Yes. Go ahead, Phyllis.
I've been in the ministry 23 years. I'm looking to retire from the church within the very near future. I'd be interested in the facilitator training and becoming one of the facilitators in the area because, as you know, even though we retire, we don't ever retire, we just recycle. So, I would be interested in facilitator training to be able to help anyone in my area of the world.
That would be fantastic. Phyllis, what's your last name?
Granger, Granger.
And you said you are in the Finger Lake area of New York State?
Of New York State, yep.
Can you send me a chat with your email address?
I can do that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And also, Angela, after our time together, we're having a leadership team call in about 45 minutes, and I will be able to talk to Dee Dee about this as well. So,
okay, great.
We'll hopefully get on the same page here real soon. So,
fantastic.
Is there anybody else on the call that I have missed at this point? So, the question becomes, why are TIM groups important? I think the most important aspect to having a ministry support group is to have a support system. And obviously, if we're pastors, which some of us are, we kind of understand that the dynamic between pastor and congregation is a delicate one. That we can have fellowship and laugh and cry with our people. But our church family isn't really meant for us to develop those kinds of personal meaningful, supportive relationships. There are boundaries that we have to maintain, and to be fully transparent is something that can be challenging for ministers, for people in our congregations. So we really have to look elsewhere to find the kind of collegial support that a person in ministry often needs. So to know that there are other people, as you remember the testimony I shared of Lisa a little bit ago, people who can identify with your unique challenges and struggles within the realms of ministry as you experience it, is really important. And sometimes we have to take some proactive steps to find those people, but I believe that they are there if you look. Not only do TIMs provide good support system, but it's an opportunity just for connection, for friendships, to be able to experience outside the realm of ministry. And just to know that there are other people, maybe not too far from you, that share some of those similar challenges that you can bounce ideas off of and find connection with, as well as support, can be very meaningful. A third reason why TIM small group events and experiences are valuable is because they really provide an opportunity for growing and learning. And this can happen personally within your own walk with Christ, perhaps a study that is personally meaningful to you, that helps you break through some of the clouds in your own personal experiences with your faith in Christ, but also might be things to help you in your ministry endeavors, maybe things that your church could possibly use in future campaigns or growth ideas. And as you have these times together, maybe a study that is pertinent to something that your church needs, whether it be small group ministry, whether it be spiritual gifts, whether it be evangelism or evangelism training, whether it be some sort of a stewardship campaign. Those are all important reasons to be able to have this opportunity to grow personally and professionally. One of the goals that we have, and you heard Lisa allude to it a little bit ago, is that we want to use our ministerscouncil.com website as a place of support and connection as well. So we'd really like for you to share your pictures with us to use at our summit, but we'd also like to feature your small groups on our website, what you're learning, what you've experienced personally, your testimony. We just want to brag on you a little bit, and it might be an encouragement to other folks who are really thinking about starting a TIM group, or maybe some ideas in an existing group that they just haven't thought of before. So with that in mind, I want to share with you a few statistics that help to reinforce the value of TIM groups. In the past, they've done surveys about areas of impact. In regards to enriching your perspective of yourself and your congregation, 84% of those who have been involved in a TIM group said, yes, that was meaningful. For opportunities for discipled focus through a specific study, something that you can study personally, 83% agree that it was a valuable experience. Gaining a climate for mutual accountability among people who might be your peers, 75% agreed that it was valuable to them. Finding a network, supportive colleagues who are simply praying for and lifting up one another, 90% agreed. Gaining a sense of availability and connection just to other ministries who support your work in proactive ways, 75% agreed. On a scale of 1 to 5, in regard just to attitude, behavior, etc., when asked if you were more able to seek prayer and support from colleagues, more than 4 out of 5 agreed. If you're more aware of the benefits of connection with colleagues, 4.5 out of 5 agreed. If you're more inclined to study with other ministers, 4 out of 5 agreed. If you're able to be freer to be yourself with your colleagues, over 4 out of 5 agreed. If you're more aware of the collaborative nature of ministry, over 4 out of 5 agreed. And if you're more reflective on what goes into sustaining ministry over the long haul, over 4 out of 5 agreed. And lastly, are you more able to reflect theologically on excellence in ministry? In other words, does my small group help me to strive to do a better job in my given field of ministry? 4 out of 5 agreed. Virginia Smith, we thank her for her ability to put some of those statistics together. So if you go to ministerscouncil.com, you'll find the home page there. And when you do that, as you scroll down a little bit, you will see the summit by the sea in Virginia Beach, information. And then right under it, you will see a place that says, money is available for existing together in ministry groups. And what you do is you just click more information. And when you do that, several things will come up. One is an opportunity to apply for some funding that we want to give to existing and very soon launching new TIM groups. You're going to see that 85% of those who have participated in TIM groups have been greatly enhanced by their small group experience. You can get a brochure. You can download a brochure about TIM groups and how they are helpful. Now, if you go to the place where it talks about getting a application, there's a place where it says grant application for existing together in ministry groups. And as you go down, you'll see where Lilly grants in the past have been provided. And now we have endowments available and funds that were given from the 7 R's of sanctuary that Deborah Jackson did in the past, and there is still money left over that has been approved to be applied to TIM groups who are either thriving or wanting to begin. You download the application, and this is what it looks like. They're going to ask for your name, your address, some sort of contact information, the ABC region that you're involved with, and if you are an existing group, how long you've met, when your group began, how many people are in it, and if you can, the size of the group and the participants who are involved. Now, I want to be clear about this, that they do not all have to be American Baptist. We would like to see several of them be, but it is not necessary for your small group to entirely be American Baptist for you to qualify for these funds. Over the past couple of months, we have given several $100s to 5 different small groups that are active now. One is doing a video called Small Group Essentials, and we help provide the material resources for that, as well as some food that they're using during their times together. Another group wants to use it for conferences. Another group wants to use it for retreats. And there's a retreat for women that they're going to be using some of the funding that we've given them towards. One of the things that we've also provided for these existing groups are some Ministers Council scholarships for 2019 to help those who might be a part of a group or wanting to be part of a group and just don't have the resources for whatever reason to be a member. And if this is a way that we can help you connect with Ministers Council and TIMs, then we're glad to do that. So we've offered a couple of scholarships to these TIM groups as well. You'll want to know that it will be time centered. In other words, we will receive applications and assess them quarterly. So the sooner that you can send your application in, the sooner that we can get back to you and provide you, hopefully, with the funds that you're asking for. For me, in 2010, I was a part of a TIM group in mid-southern Indiana. I was pastoring a church in a town called Mitchell, Indiana, just a little bit south of Bloomington. And there was a TIM group that was existing close to me. We would meet monthly at Indian Creek Baptist Camp. And it's really beautiful out there and just away from things, and that you're able to just take a deep breath and enjoy the nature and beauty of God. It gave us the opportunity to connect. There are times that we met in one of the pastors' homes, and we met other places as well. We would have a meal together, and we did studies, and it was a really valuable time for me. Now, as I am in very southern Indiana, in Tell City, there is no existing TIM, but I want to do something about that. So what I'm trying to do is assess other churches that are fairly close to me, within, let's say, an hour away, that might be American Baptist ministers, might be Baptists of other denominations, might be other denominations in general that are maybe looking for this kind of connection and support. At this point, I've talked to 4 other pastors who all seem open to the idea. So obviously this is a busy time. We're starting to get ready for Easter and all of that. So I anticipate that once we get through Easter, it'll be one of my focuses to establish and launch a TIM group in my region. And let's be honest, Tell City, we're a town of 7,000, and we're the only real town in our county, which is a big county. So there are a couple of small towns close by that have pastors, and they're young, and they really could use this kind of a thing. Evansville is an hour away, and there are people there that might be involved as well. So I'm hopeful that in the next few months, I can see a TIM launch in my community. So I'm hopeful that there's going to be other folks like yourself that might be interested in starting a group if you're not part of one currently, and I'll invite you to be involved in this process. Our goal is that with the website, there will be a separate application for existing TIM groups and those who are looking to launch one. For now, there is one application, and you're welcome to use it for both. As I've shared some of this, I would like to take a couple minutes just for response and input to what we've talked about today. How would you like to just respond to what's been shared? Anybody?
I found the TIM groups to be a powerful instrument. As I said, our issue was we had retired and active pastors, and it was difficult to find the criteria that would make everyone happy. So I'm looking forward to forming this TIM group with active pastors.
Yes.
We ran probably 5 years or more, gained a lot of material and everything, but that one glitch was really keeping us from being able to be the best that we could be.
I understand. So maybe it's time to rethink, right? And restart and
Right.
start fresh.
And that's what I want to do, is start a new TIM group.
Excellent. Well, you are welcome to go to the website and use the application and just note on it that you'd like to do a launch. I have another application just like that from another group wanting to do the same thing. So I invite you to do that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I certainly appreciate everyone being on this call. We greatly value you all and are appreciative for the work that you do in your local communities. We're going to close with a word of prayer, and we'll be done for today. Don't forget, next month, March 14th, there will be a MCLive webinar event as we consider church growth and resources to help Sunday school and other areas of study in the life of your church. We invite you to be a part of that March 14th, 11 Central Time. Let's close with a word of prayer. Father, today we thank you for an opportunity to connect together through this modern technology called Zoom and doing this webinar together. I pray, God, over each one today as they serve you in their local fields. And Father, that you would use TIM groups to continue to build and support and connect those working together in ministry. Father, we pray all of this now in Jesus' name. Amen.